Stay with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to explain is the kind of change that doesn't make headlines, doesn't trigger alerts, and doesn't come with a warning. But it can quietly change how much money you receive every single month. Social Security didn't announce this change. There was no press conference, no warning letter, no headline. But for millions of people over 60, the numbers already look different. A slightly smaller deposit. A higher tax bill. A Medicare premium that quietly went up. Nothing feels dramatic, but the money adds up every month. If you don't understand what just changed and why, you could lose more without ever realizing where it's going. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "interested" in the comments. And I will give you a heart. Social Security did not cut benefits across the board, and that is exactly why so many people are confused right now, because what happened was quieter and more technical and far easier to miss if you are not watching closely. The system did not reduce the base benefit formula, it did not lower checks for everyone, and it did not announce a new rule in plain language. Instead, the change came through how income is tracked, how it is categorized, and how it interacts with taxes and Medicare, and that is why seniors are opening bank statements and feeling something is off without being able to point to a single reason. The first thing you need to understand is that Social Security does not look at your life the way you live it. They look at your life on paper, and when the way income is reported changes, even slightly, the system reacts automatically. There is no human sitting there asking whether you meant to help a grandchild or whether that part-time job was just to stay active. The computer only sees numbers crossing thresholds that used to be ignored or loosely enforced, but are now being monitored more closely. The biggest shift is in how combined income is calculated and applied. Combined income is not just your Social Security check, it is your Social Security plus half of your Social Security, plus everything else that comes in: pensions, interest, dividends, part-time work, withdrawals from retirement accounts, and certain forms of support. And when that total crosses invisible lines, things start to happen. Taxes appear, withholding changes, Medicare premiums adjust, and none of this feels connected in real life because it does not show up all at once. It shows up in pieces over months, sometimes years later. That is why people feel blindsided. The second major change is timing. The government did not move the thresholds dramatically, they kept many of them the same, but inflation and higher interest rates pushed people closer to those lines without them doing anything different. Savings accounts that used to earn almost nothing now generate interest, and that interest counts. Withdrawals that used to feel small now look larger on paper. Cost of living adjustments push Social Security checks up slightly, which ironically can push people into taxable territory even though their buying power did not improve, and the system does not care whether that increase helped or hurt you. It only reacts to totals. The third shift is enforcement. This is the part no one likes to talk about. The rules around taxation and Medicare income adjustments have existed for years, but enforcement was inconsistent, delayed, or poorly coordinated. That changed recently. Automation improved, data sharing improved, and look-back systems became more aggressive. That means income from 2 years ago can suddenly affect your Medicare premium today, and income you did not think mattered can now trigger a letter or a change without warning. This is why people say nothing changed in my life, but everything changed on paper. And that disconnect is the root of the fear seniors feel right now, because when you do not understand the cause, you cannot predict the effect, and when you cannot predict the effect, you feel out of control. One of the most common triggers is part-time work. People work a few hours a week not to get rich, but to stay engaged. And that income often feels harmless, but when combined with Social Security pensions and interest, it can tip the scale. Another trigger is helping family. Seniors who take in relatives or give financial help sometimes receive support in return or adjust household finances in ways that change how income is reported. Even when no money changes hands, the system can interpret this differently than you expect. Another trigger is one-time decisions, taking money out of a retirement account for a roof, medical bills, or helping a child. That single event can affect taxes now and Medicare premiums later because of the 2-year look back, and most people are never told that at the moment they make the decision. They find out years later when the bill arrives. This is not about bad choices, it is about missing information, and that is why this change feels unfair, because it punishes normal human behavior, staying active, helping families, solving problems, without explaining the consequences up front. The government assumes you know the rules, but no one ever sat you down and explained them clearly, and that is the failure, not yours. The most dangerous part of this change is that it does not feel urgent at first. A check goes down by $30, a Medicare premium goes up by $50, taxes increase at the end of the year. Nothing explodes, but over 12 months, that is real money, and for people on fixed incomes there is no cushion to absorb it. This is why understanding what changed matters more than reacting emotionally, because once you see the pattern you can protect yourself, but if you do not see it, the system keeps taking quietly and consistently, and you spend Years wondering why things feel tighter even though you did everything right, and that is exactly what we are going to break down step by step in the next part, so you can see where the lines are before you cross them and make decisions with clarity instead of fear. Now that you understand what quietly changed, the most important thing is knowing how to protect yourself going forward, because this system does not reverse itself automatically. Once a line is crossed, it keeps applying pressure month after month unless you intervene, and the first form of protection is awareness. You cannot manage what you do not see, so the smartest seniors right now are no longer looking at income piece by piece, they are looking at it together: Social Security, pensions, interest, withdrawals, part-time work, all in one place, because when you see the full picture you can spot danger early before the system reacts. The second form of protection is timing, and this is where many people unknowingly hurt themselves. Social Security and Medicare do not think month to month. They think in calendar years and look-back periods. A decision made in November can affect an entire year. A withdrawal in December can raise Medicare premiums 2 years later. This is why delaying or splitting income across years matters so much, and it is not gaming the system, it is understanding the rules before the system applies them to you. The third form of protection is withholding. Most people fear withholding because it feels like losing money, but in reality it is buying predictability. Choosing to have taxes withheld directly from Social Security spreads the impact out slowly instead of hitting you with a painful bill all at once, and for many seniors that peace of mind alone is worth it, because the stress of waiting for the IRS letter is worse than the small monthly reduction. The fourth form of protection is documentation and responsiveness. This is where many seniors get hurt without realizing it. Letters from Social Security or Medicare are not suggestions, they are triggers, and ignoring them does not pause the system, it accelerates it. Deadlines pass, reviews escalate, and payments adjust before explanations arrive. Opening mail, promptly keeping copies, and responding on time prevents most of the horror stories people share. The fifth form of protection is knowing your appeal rights. This is critical because many seniors believe once a Medicare premium increases or a benefit changes it is permanent. That is not always true. Income-related Medicare adjustments can be appealed when income increased due to life-changing events: retirement, death of a spouse, divorce, medical emergencies. But if you do not know this, you quietly overpay for years believing you have no choice. Knowledge here is not optional, it is expensive to be uninformed. The sixth form of protection is help, and this is where pride gets in the way. Too often seniors avoid asking for help because they feel they should understand this system, but this system was not designed to be intuitive, it was designed to be administered. And there is a difference. Free senior tax clinics, state health insurance assistance programs, and community counselors exist specifically to walk through these issues slowly without judgment, and seniors who use them consistently save money, reduce stress, and regain confidence. Now let us talk about the emotional side, because money rules do not exist in a vacuum, they sit on top of fear, responsibility, and exhaustion. Many seniors are not afraid of being poor, they are afraid of being surprised. They budget carefully, they plan responsibly, and what hurts most is feeling punished for normal life choices. Staying means active, helping families, solving problems, and that emotional weight is real. I have spoken to seniors who whisper their fears because they do not want to burden their children, seniors who check accounts before buying groceries, seniors who lie awake wondering if one wrong decision will unravel everything, and that fear is not irrational, it is learned from being blindsided too many times. But here's what I want you to hear clearly: you are not failing, you are not behind, and you are not foolish. You were never given the rules in plain language, and today you took back control by learning them. That matters, because once you understand the system you stop fearing it and start managing it quietly, confidently, and on your terms. The biggest shift you can make is moving from reactive to proactive. Instead of asking why did my check change, you start asking will this decision change my check. Instead of waiting for letters, you anticipate them. Instead of assuming nothing can be done, you ask what options exist, and that mindset alone separates seniors who struggle quietly from those who stay stable. Even when rules shift, the system will continue to change, it always has, but changes hurt most when people are kept in the dark, and that is why staying informed is not about politics or panic, it is about protection, clarity, and dignity. You worked your whole life, you paid into this system, and you deserve to understand how it treats you now. If this explanation helped you see the pattern and not just the problem, then share it with someone who might still be confused, because clarity spreads stability. And if you want to keep getting calm, honest explanations like this without fear or noise, stay connected, because the more you understand, the less the system can quietly take from you, and that is how you protect what you earned.